Beacon space has a long and complicated history, but many historians would point to a well-studied period of time between 228 BCE and 220 BCE as one of the most influential on the modern era of powerful, multi-planetary empires. Fragmented data exists on recording the First Agricultural Wars, a period of time when it is known that a satellite sector, referred to as AgriSec, was accessible from only a single gate connection to Tellus via Veyrodent, an important breadbasket that fed the ever-hungry core worlds. The major agricultural corporations, Darien Agricultural Consortium, the Bihar Bearers, and Memnos Harveyfab, have a tenuous working relationship in this space, each acting as a check and balance on the others as they expand their exploitation of the natural resources of these worlds. Though constantly competing, none have been able to afford the cost of open warfare, fearing that the others may band together in order to prevent the balance of power shifting too far in any direction. The Beacon Trade Association controls access to the gate and the rest of Beacon space. They have been throttling AgriSec, enacting high tariffs and restrictive controls on advanced technology, as well as increasing transaction fees across the sector. Such greed has driven tensions between themselves and the AgriCorps to the highest levels in history. Surviving in the delicate balance, Shango, a former Bihar Bearers colony, splintered off to form its own independent government. Despite a publicly amicable split, suspicion and doubt still fill this relationship. Lastly, the arrival of the car caregivers to AgriSec has nudged the tension to a near boiling point, despite their peaceful and healing nature. Relationships are fracturing. The forces of the free market are shifting steadily towards conquest. Resources are diminishing, and conflict over an ever-decreasing number of new worlds becomes more frenetic. Small skirmishes over outposts and yet unclaimed production worlds threaten to become total war. When the fog clears, who will be on top? Your shareholders nip at your heels. It doesn't matter to them that you're the most successful agricultural consortium in history. Your parent company in Beacon Space dominates their industry, but your satellite franchise still needs to prove itself. You've been given control of the tractors, laborers, and enforcers who have given oaths to your rule. Corporate regulation is your enemy. Let Memnos play at pioneer. Let the Bihar Bearers spout soulless platitudes. The world was made to be exploited. Go and do what you do best. Turn dirt into cold, hard cash. You're not like those other corps. You really do care about the people. After all, who else is going to work in your colonies and purchase your goods? You don't control things via short-sighted militarism like Darien. You're not masochistic, efficiency-obsessed robots like Memnos. You are the Bihar bearers, and you light the way for others to follow. Seek out new colonies, new land, new opportunities. You will enrich the people of Beacon Space and your own bank account. Nobody else could do what you do. Life is a miracle, and you bring that miracle everywhere you go. Toxic seas, poisonous atmosphere, no problem. Your rigid systems and survival techniques mean that you turn a profit where others turn and run. Nothing can get in your way. The DAC follow in your footsteps, taking the easy path after you've already done the hard work. The Bihar bearers poach your people with the promise of an easy life. Those that leave are simply not cut out to be the best. When all is said and done, anyone could replace them, but history will remember Memnos Harvey Fan. It's nothing personal, it's just business. You don't create goods, manage factories, or sully yourself with primary industry. That's a sucker's game with liabilities and competition. You create wealth. Much easier to simply sell and buy from them all. You had to raise your prices. Fuel's not cheap. These corporations demand more and more from you. If you gave them everything they asked for, why, you would no longer be needed. Veyrodant is a jewel in your trade empire. You've kept it open to all, but the others would exploit it for their own gain. It's only fair you charge for this service. Don't get caught up in their corporate games. You're better than that. You're the Beacon Trade Association. Your people bled for this land. Sweat, toil, and tears. You have done the work, made the ground fertile. You sowed the first seeds and harvested each crop. And what have you received in return? Minimum wage and corporate debt. Fated to work your entire life for the supposedly humanitarian Bihar bearers. Until you said enough was enough. You would be taken advantage of no more. And you were successful. You have won your independence, free to make your own path through this cold universe. Will you be able to hold on to it? Or will you once again fall under the corporate boot? Charity is a virtue, but it is not weakness. People often make this mistake when they deal with you, assuming that simply because you are kind, that you are exploitable, when in truth what you have done takes more discipline than they have shown in their entire life. You reject the easy path of greed and base instinct. You have taken to a higher calling. A rising tide lifts all of humanity, and you will make sure that nobody can stop your healing waters.